Here's the thing about being a daughter who wants to believe the best in her mother. You ignore the signs. You make excuses. You tell yourself that she loves you, even when her actions say otherwise. You convince yourself that this time is different, that she's changed, that she wouldn't hurt you again. I did that for 24 years. I ignored the birthdays she forgot, the promises she broke, the money she borrowed and never returned. I told myself she was struggling. I told myself she was doing her best. I told myself that one day she would finally see me, really see me, and love me the way I needed to be loved. That day never came. Instead, she called me on a Tuesday afternoon, crying so hard I could barely understand her. "Ellie, it's your father.
He's sick.
Really sick." "What do you mean? What kind of sick?"
Cancer.
"The doctors say it's aggressive. They caught it late." My world stopped. My father, my dad, the man who taught me to ride a bike, the man who stayed up with me when I had nightmares, the man who worked double shifts so I could go to college, the man who never once broke a promise to me. He was dying. "What kind of cancer?" I asked. "Pancreatic."
It's bad, Ellie.
"The treatments are expensive. Your father's insurance won't cover everything. We don't know what to do." She was crying.
Sobbing.
The kind of crying that made my chest ache. "I'll help," I said. "Whatever you need, I'll help. I knew I could count on you. You've always been my good girl." I didn't know it then, but those words were the hook. You've always been my good girl. The girl who said yes. The girl who gave. The girl who sacrificed. The girl who would hand over $47,000 without asking a single question. Because that's what good girls do. They trust. They believe. They get destroyed. Get comfortable. Grab your coffee. The people in this story had every chance to do the right thing. They just didn't. Drop a comment and tell us, what city are you watching from, and how old are you?
And be sure to subscribe.
You're not going to believe what this mother did to her own daughter. My name is Ellie. I'm 24 years old. I'm a nurse, a pediatric nurse, actually. I spend my days taking care of sick children, holding their hands, telling them everything is going to be okay. Ironic, isn't it? I comfort dying children for a living, but I couldn't see that my own mother was lying to my face. I live in a small apartment in Portland, Oregon. It's not much, one bedroom, a kitchen that's too small, a living room that doubles as my dining room. But it's mine. I worked for it. I saved for it. Every piece of furniture, every dish, every book on the shelf, I earned it. My father, James, is 62. He's a retired high school history teacher. He's quiet.
Kind.
The kind of man who would give you the shirt off his back and then apologize that it wasn't clean. My mother, Cheryl, is 59. She's the opposite of my father.
Loud. Charismatic.
The center of every room she walks into. People love her. They're drawn to her. She has a way of making you feel like you're the most important person in the world until she doesn't. My sister, Madison, is 27. She's the golden child. The one with the perfect job, the perfect husband, the perfect house. She's also the one who has never given my mother a dime. Funny how that works. The daughter, who is everything, never gets asked for anything. The daughter, who is nothing, gets drained dry. I noticed that pattern years ago. I just didn't want to see it. If you've made it this far, you can probably feel what's coming. Before things get real, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and drop a like. I promise you, you do not want to miss what happens when Ellie discovers the truth. Let's keep going. The first call came on a Tuesday. The second call came 2 days later. "Ellie, the doctors say he needs surgery. It's expensive. We've already used up our savings." "How much?" $15,000. Just for the first round. I had $47,000 in my savings account. My down payment. The money I had been setting aside for 4 years, working double shifts, skipping vacations, driving a car that barely ran. It was supposed to be my future. My home. My security. But my father was dying. And what kind of daughter would I be if I let money stand in the way of his life? "I can give you 15, I said. "Oh, Ellie, you're an angel. Your father is going to be so grateful." She didn't say thank you. She said, "Your father is going to be so grateful." As if the money was going to him. as if he was the one asking. He wasn't. He didn't even know. I transferred the money that afternoon. $15,000.
Gone.
I told myself it was an investment, not in stocks or bonds. In family. In love. I told myself I would earn it back. I told myself that money didn't matter as much as my father's life. All of those things were true, but none of them changed the fact that I was being lied to. The calls continued. Ellie, the chemo is more expensive than we thought. Ellie, the hospital is demanding payment up front. Ellie, your father needs a second surgery. Each time, I gave more. $5,000. $10,000. $12,000. By the end of 2 months, my savings account was empty. $47,000.
Gone.
Every penny I had worked for. Every sacrifice I had made. Every dream I had of owning a home gone. But my father was alive. That's what mattered. Or so I thought. If you've made it this far, you're one of the few. Most people would have stopped by now. But you stayed. That tells me something about you. Hit that subscribe button and drop a like. What comes next? You don't want to miss it. I decided to visit my parents. Not to check on the money. I still trusted my mother then. To see my father. To spend time with him before the treatments made him too sick. I drove the 3 hours from Portland to the small town where I grew up. The drive was beautiful. Mountains. Rivers. Fields of wildflowers. I arrived on a Saturday afternoon. My mother answered the door. She was wearing a new dress. Expensive. The kind you buy at Nordstrom. Not Target. Ellie, you didn't tell me you were coming. I wanted to surprise you. And Dad. He's in the backyard. Resting. I walked through the house. The living room had new furniture. A new TV. A rug that looked like it cost more than my rent. Mom, where did all this come from? Your father's insurance paid out. For the treatment. I thought you said the insurance didn't cover everything.
It didn't.
But we got some of it. Asterisk. Something felt wrong, but I pushed the feeling down. My father was in the backyard, sitting in an old lawn chair, reading the newspaper. Dad. He looked up. His face lit up. Ellie, what are you doing here? He stood up, walked toward me. He wasn't limping. He wasn't pale. He wasn't thin. He looked exactly the same as he always had. How are you feeling? I asked. Feeling? I feel fine. Why wouldn't I? The cancer. The treatments. He frowned. What are you talking about? My heart stopped. Dad, Mom told me you have pancreatic cancer. She said you've been in treatment for 2 months.
My father stared at me.
Ellie, I don't have cancer. I've never had cancer. I just had my annual physical. The doctor said I'm in perfect health. But Mom said. I don't know what your mother said. But she's been different lately. Spending a lot of money. Going out a lot. I thought she was just stressed. My mother was standing in the doorway. Cheryl, what is Ellie talking about? My father asked. My mother's face was pale. I can explain. Explain what? The cancer. I thought if I told her you were sick, she would help us financially. And she did. She gave you money for my cancer treatment. Yes. Treatment that doesn't exist. My mother didn't answer. My father walked past her. Into the house. He didn't say another word. I followed him. Dad, wait. Not now, Ellie. I need to think. He went into the bedroom. Closed the door. I stood in the living room, staring at the new furniture, the new TV, the expensive rug. I turned to my mother. How much of that money did you spend? I don't know what you're. How much, Mom? Some of it. For the house. For things we needed. The treatment for Dad's fake cancer. I was going to pay you back. With what? You don't have a job. You've never had a job. She didn't answer. I pulled out my phone. Opened my banking app.
$0.
$47,000.
Gone.
I want to see your bank statements, I said. You can't. I can. I will. Or I'll call the police right now. Her face went white. You wouldn't. Try me. All right, this is the moment everything changes. If you're still here, you're one of the rare ones. 94% of people scroll past without subscribing, but you stayed. That tells me something about you. Hit subscribe because what comes next? You deserve to see what happens when Ellie sees the bank statements. My mother handed me her phone. I opened her banking app, scrolled through 3 months of transactions. $47,000.
Gone.
But not to hospitals, not to doctors, not to cancer treatments, to Nordstrom, to Sephora, to a casino in Washington State, to a luxury resort in Mexico, to a restaurant that charged $400 for a meal for two. I read every transaction. Each one was a knife in my chest. You went to Mexico? It was just a weekend. I needed a break. You needed a break? From what? Lying to me.
Ellie, I'm sorry.
You're sorry? You stole my down payment, my savings, my future, for a weekend in Mexico, for gambling, for clothes you don't need. I was going to pay you back.
How?
How are you going to pay me back? She didn't have an answer. My father came out of the bedroom. His face was hard. Cheryl, pack a bag. What? Pack a bag. You're leaving. This is my house too. This is my house. I paid for it. I've paid for everything. And I'm done. My mother started crying. The same tears she always cried. The ones that used to make me feel guilty. I didn't feel guilty anymore. Where am I supposed to go? She sobbed. I don't care.
She looked at me.
Ellie, please. Tell your father.
No.
I'm your mother. You were my mother. Now you're the woman who stole $47,000 from me. She stared at me. Then she walked into the bedroom. The door closed. My father sat down on the couch. He looked old, tired, broken.
I'm sorry, Ellie.
I didn't know. I know, Dad. I should have seen it. The money, the new furniture, the way she was always going out. You wanted to believe her, like I did. How did we both get fooled? Because she's good at it. She's had a lifetime of practice. He put his head in his hands. What do I do now? Asterisk. You do what I'm going to do. You stop letting her control you. My mother left that night. She took a suitcase, the new clothes, the expensive jewelry. She didn't say goodbye to me. She didn't look at my father. She just walked out the door. I watched her go, and I made a promise to myself. She was not going to get away with this. Not the money, not the lies, not the years of manipulation. I was going to make sure everyone knew exactly who she was. And I knew exactly when to do it. My sister's 30th birthday party. 3 weeks away. Everyone would be there. Family. Friends. The people whose good opinions my mother valued most. It was the perfect place to tell the truth. Here's something I learned in the days after my mother walked out the door. Grief and anger are not opposites. They're twins. They live in the same room, eat at the same table, breathe the same air. You can't have one without the other knocking at the door. I grieved the mother I thought I had, the one who tucked me into bed, the one who kissed my scraped knees, the one who sang off-key in the car and made me laugh so hard I cried. That mother never existed. The woman who walked out the door with a suitcase full of stolen money was the real one. The liar, the manipulator, the thief. And I had spent 24 years loving her, defending her, making excuses for her. My father sat on the couch for 3 days after she left. He didn't eat. He didn't sleep. He just sat there, staring at the wall, replaying 30 years of marriage through new eyes. I thought she loved me, he said on the 3rd day. She loved what you gave her. I gave her everything. I know, Dad. My pension, my retirement, my savings. She spent it all, and I let her. You trusted her. That's not a crime. It should have been. I should have seen it. I sat down next to him. You're not the one who stole money from your own child. He looked at me. His eyes were red. No. But I enabled her. I looked the other way. I told myself she would change. We both did. What do we do now? Now, we make sure she never does this to anyone else again. Welcome back to Everyday Drama. Get comfortable. Grab your coffee. The truth is finally coming out. Drop a comment and tell us, what city are you watching from, and how old are you? And be sure to subscribe. You're not going to believe what Ellie has planned for her mother. The first thing I did was call my sister. Madison and I have never been close. She's 5 years older. She moved out when I was still in high school, She built a life in a different city, with a different set of friends, a different version of our family. But she was still my sister. And she deserved to know the truth. Ellie, it's late. What's wrong? It's Mom. What did she do now? The way she said it. What did she do now? Told me everything. Madison knew. Maybe not the details. But she knew our mother was capable of this. She told me Dad had cancer. Pancreatic. Aggressive. She said the treatments were expensive and insurance wouldn't cover everything. Oh no. Is he okay? There is no cancer, Madison. Dad is fine. It was a lie. All of it. What do you mean, a lie? I mean she made it up. The whole thing. The diagnosis. The treatments. The surgeries. None of it ever happened. Silence. I gave her $47,000. I continued. My down payment. Every penny I had saved for 4 years. She spent it on clothes. On a trip to Mexico. On gambling. Ellie, no. I have the bank statements. I have the receipts. I have the text messages where she begged me for more money. I have everything. I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry. Be ready. Ready for what? Your birthday party is in 3 weeks. Everyone will be there. Mom will be there. And I'm going to tell everyone the truth. Madison was quiet for a long moment. Are you sure? I've never been more sure of anything. What if she denies it? She can't deny bank statements. She can't deny receipts. She can't deny the text messages I saved. This is going to destroy her. She destroyed herself. I'm just showing everyone the wreckage. If you've made it this far, you can probably feel what's coming. Before things get real, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and drop a like. I promise you, you do not want to miss what happens when Ellie confronts her mother at the party. Let's keep going. The next 2 weeks were a blur of preparation. I gathered evidence like a prosecutor building a case. Bank statements. Screenshots of text messages. Receipts from the casino. Copies of the hotel bills from Mexico. I organized everything in a binder. Thick. Heavy. Impossible to ignore. I also wrote a letter to my mother. Not to send. To read. To make sure I had the words right. Dear Mom, you told me Dad was dying. You cried on the phone. You said you needed my help. I gave you everything I had. $47,000. My down payment. My future. My trust. There was no cancer. There were no treatments. There was no surgery. There was only greed. Only lies. Only you. You spent my money on clothes you didn't need. On trips you didn't earn. On gambling that left you with nothing but debt and desperation. I hope it was worth it. I hope every designer bag, every vacation photo, every spin of the slot machine was worth destroying our relationship. Because you'll never get another penny from me. And you'll never get my trust again.
Goodbye.
Ellie. I read the letter out loud. My voice didn't shake. My hands didn't tremble. I was ready. My father decided to come to the party. Not because he wanted to see my mother.
Because he wanted to support me.
She took 30 years of my life, he said. I'm not going to let her take this moment from you. Are you sure, Dad? It's going to be ugly. Let it be ugly. The truth is uglier than any lie. I hugged him. I love you, Dad. I love you too, Ellie. I'm sorry I didn't protect you from her. You protected me from everything else. This one was mine to fight. The party was at a restaurant in Portland. My sister's husband, David, had rented out the private dining room. 40 guests. Family. Friends. Co-workers. People who had known my mother for years. People who thought she was charming. Generous. A devoted wife and mother. People who had no idea who she really was. I arrived early. I wanted to set up. I wanted to make sure the projector worked. I wanted to practice my speech in the empty room. Madison met me there. Are you sure about this? She asked again. I've never been more sure about anything. This is going to be brutal. What she did was brutal. I'm just returning the favor. She's still our mother.
No.
She's not. A mother doesn't steal from her child. A mother doesn't lie about her husband's health. A mother doesn't spend her daughter's future on a roulette table. Madison looked at the projector. At the binder. At my face. What do you need from me? I need you to not stop me. I won't. I need you to not defend her. I won't. And I need you to know that I love you, even if this ends our relationship with her. She ended it, not you. We hugged. Then we waited for the guests to arrive. If you've made it this far, you're one of the few. Most people would have stopped by now, but you stayed. That tells me something about you. Hit that subscribe button and drop a like. What comes next? You don't want to miss it. The guests arrived at 6 p.m. My mother was among them. Of course she was. She wouldn't miss an opportunity to be the center of attention. She was wearing a new dress. Red. Expensive. The kind of dress you buy when you're pretending you have money. She walked in like she owned a room, kissing cheeks, hugging necks, laughing at jokes no one had told yet. My father stood in the corner, watching her. His face was unreadable. I stood near the projector, waiting. The dinner was served. People talked,
ate, drank, laughed.
My mother held court at the head of the table, telling stories about her difficult year, about how she had nearly lost her husband, about how grateful she was for the support of her family. I watched her perform, and I felt nothing.
No anger, no sadness, no pity.
Just the cold, quiet certainty that she was about to reap what she had sown. After dinner, my sister stood up to give a toast. "Thank you all for coming," she said. "I know this isn't a typical birthday party, but my sister asked if she could share something with you, and I agreed." The room went quiet. My mother looked confused. "What is this?" she asked. Madison didn't answer. She just looked at me. I stood up. "Thank you, Madison." I walked to the front of the room. The projector was behind me. The remote was in my hand. Most of you know me as Ellie, the nurse, the quiet one, the daughter who never caused any trouble. A few people nodded. What you probably don't know is that 3 months ago, I gave my mother $47,000. The room stirred. I gave her that money because she told me my father had pancreatic cancer. She said the treatments were expensive. She said insurance wouldn't cover everything. She said he was dying. I looked at my mother. Her face was pale. "There is no cancer. My father is fine. He's been fine. He was never sick." "Ellie, don't," my mother started. "Don't interrupt me. You had your chance to tell the truth. You chose not to." I clicked the remote. The first bank statement appeared on the screen. This is my savings account. 3 months ago, it had $47,000 in it. Today, it has 0. I clicked again. This is my mother's bank account. Over the same period, she spent $47,000 on Nordstrom, Sephora, a casino in Washington State, and a luxury resort in Mexico. The room gasped. My mother stood up. "You can't do this. This is private. You made it public when you stole from me." I clicked again. Text messages. My mother begging for money. "Ellie, the hospital is demanding payment. Ellie, the surgery is tomorrow. Ellie, please don't tell your father. He's already so scared." "I didn't tell my father," I said, "because there was no surgery. There was no hospital. There was no cancer. There was only my mother's greed." My father stood up. "It's true," he said. "I never had cancer. I never had treatment. My wife lied to our daughter to steal her savings." My mother looked around the room, searching for an ally, searching for someone who would defend her. No one spoke. "You're all against me," she whispered. "No," I said. "We're for the truth. For the first time in our lives, we're for the truth." All right, this is the moment everything changes. If you're still here, you're one of the rare ones. 94% of people scroll past without subscribing, but you stayed. That tells me something about you. Hit subscribe because what comes next? You deserve to see what happens when Cheryl finally faces the consequences. My mother tried to leave. She grabbed her purse, walked toward the door. "If you walk out that door," I said, "everyone here will know you're guilty." "I'm not guilty of anything. You stole $47,000 from your own daughter." "I borrowed it. I was going to pay it back." "With what? You don't have a job. You've never had a job. You spent your whole life spending other people's money." "That's not true." "It is true. Dad gave you everything. His paycheck. His retirement. his savings. And you spent it all. On yourself. On things you didn't need. On a life you couldn't afford. My father stood next to me. She's right, he said. I worked 40 years. I saved for retirement. And when I checked my accounts last week, they were empty. He looked at my mother. You took everything, Cheryl. Everything I earned. Everything I saved. Everything I was going to leave to our children. I didn't.
Don't lie.
Not here. Not now. My mother started crying. The same tears she always cried. The ones that used to work. They didn't work anymore. I want a divorce, my father said. The room went silent. What? My mother whispered. A divorce. I want you out of my life. Out of my house. Out of my future. You can't do this.
I can.
And I am.
My mother looked at me.
At my sister. At the room full of people who had once loved her. This is your fault, she said to me. You did this.
No.
You did this. Every lie. Every manipulation. Every theft. You did this to yourself. I walked to the door. Opened it. Leave, I said. She walked out. The door closed behind her. The room was quiet. No one knew what to say. No one knew how to process what they had just witnessed. My sister was crying. My father was holding her. I stood by the door, staring at the wood where my mother's shadow had been. I'm sorry, I said to the guests. I know this wasn't the party you expected, but I needed you to know the truth. I needed you to know who she really is. One of my aunts stood up. We should have seen it, she said. The signs were always there. The lies. The manipulation. We just didn't want to believe it. None of us did. Another aunt stood up. What can we do to help? Nothing. Just don't let her manipulate you. Don't give her money. Don't believe her stories. She'll try to turn you against us. Against Dad. Against me. Don't let her. They nodded. One by one, they came up to me, hugged me, told me they were sorry. I didn't cry. I was done crying. My father put his arm around me. I'm proud of you, he said. I'm not proud of me. I'm just tired. That's what courage looks like. Being tired and doing it anyway. The party ended early. The guests left. The staff cleared the tables. The lights dimmed. It was just me, my father, and my sister. What happens now? Madison asked. We live, I said. We live without her. Do you think she'll try to come back? She'll try. She always tries. But we won't let her. My father looked at his phone. She's already texting me, apologizing, begging, blaming. What are you going to say? Nothing. I'm not going to say anything. He put his phone in his pocket. I've said everything I need to say. I drove home that night in silence. No radio.
No podcast. No audiobox.
Just the hum of the engine and the whisper of the tires on the road. I thought about my mother, about the woman she could have been, about the mother I wished I had. I thought about the $47,000, about the down payment I'd never see again. I thought about my father, about the years he'd lost, about the retirement he'd have to rebuild. And I thought about myself, 24 years old, flat broke.
No savings.
No down payment. No mother. But I had something I hadn't had before. The truth. And the truth I was learning was worth more than any amount of money. Here's something I learned in the weeks after I exposed my mother at my sister's party. The truth doesn't set you free. Not at first. At first, it buries you. It sits on your chest and makes you look at everything you thought you knew and realize it was all a lie. I spent the first week after the party in a fog. I went to work. I came home. I fed myself. I slept. But I wasn't really there. I was somewhere else. Somewhere inside my own head, replaying every moment, every conversation, every lie. My father filed for divorce. He did it quickly, quietly, without drama. He didn't want to fight. He just wanted out. I don't want any of it, he said. The house. The furniture. The memories. She can have it all. Dad, you worked for that house. I know. But I don't want to live there anymore. Not without her there?
No.
I don't want to live there with the ghosts. Where will you go? I found a small apartment. Near you. In Portland. You're moving to Portland? I want to be close to you. And to Madison. I've spent too many years living far away from my daughters. I don't want to do that anymore. I hugged him.
I'm blah, de.
Me too. He moved into a one-bedroom apartment 20 minutes from mine. It wasn't much. A couch.
A bed.
A kitchen table he bought from a thrift store. But it was his. Not hers. Not theirs. His. Welcome back to Everyday Drama. Get comfortable. Grab your coffee. This is the final chapter of Ellie's story. Drop a comment and tell us, what city are you watching from, and how old are you? And be sure to subscribe. You're not going to want to miss how this ends. My mother tried to contact me. Texts, voicemails, letters slipped under my door. Ellie, please talk to me.
I'm sorry.
I know I made mistakes. I'm your mother. You can't just cut me out of your life. I'm not well. I need help. I need you. I didn't respond to any of them. I saved them. Every text, every voicemail, every letter. I added them to the binder. The evidence. The proof. Not because I planned to use them. Because I needed to remind myself, in case I ever felt weak, in case I ever missed her, in case I ever thought about forgiving her. This is who she is. This is what she does. This is what she took from me. The third week after the party, she showed up at my apartment. I was coming home from work. She was sitting on the steps outside my building. She looked different. Thinner. Older. Her hair was unwashed. Her clothes were wrinkled. Ellie, what are you doing here? I need to talk to you. We have nothing to talk about.
Please.
Just 5 minutes. I looked at her. This woman who had given me life. This woman who had stolen my future. You have 2 minutes. Can we go inside?
No.
She nodded. Swallowed.
I'm sorry.
I know I said that before, but I mean it. I'm sorry for the lies. For the money. For everything. You're sorry you got caught. That's not true. Then why didn't you confess? Why did I have to find out on my own? Why did I have to expose you in front of everyone? She didn't answer. You had months to tell me the truth. Months. Every time I called to check on Dad, you could have said something. Every time I asked about his treatment, you could have come clean. But you didn't. You just kept lying. You kept taking my money. You kept spending it on yourself. I was going to pay you back. With what? You have nothing. You've always had nothing. You've spent your whole life taking from other people. Asterisk. That's not fair. Fair? You want to talk about fair?
Fair would have been you getting a job.
Fair would have been you supporting yourself. Fair would have been you not stealing from your own daughter. She started crying. The same tears. The same performance. I didn't feel sorry for her. I want you to leave, I said. Ellie.
Leave. Now.
If you don't, I'm calling the police. She stood up. Walked away. I watched her go. She didn't look back. If you've made it this far, you can probably feel what's coming. Before things get real, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and drop a like. I promise you, you do not want to miss what happens when Ellie finally rebuilds. Let's keep going. The divorce was finalized 6 months later. My mother didn't fight it. She didn't have the money for a lawyer. She didn't have the energy for a fight. She signed the papers. Walked away with nothing but the clothes on her back and the debt she'd accrued. My father kept the house. Sold it. Used the money to pay off the debts she'd left behind. It's not fair, he said. She should be the one paying for her mistakes. She can't pay, Dad. She's broke. She's not broke. She's just unwilling to work. He wasn't wrong, but there was nothing we could do. My mother moved to Nevada. I heard through relatives that she'd found a job at a casino, dealing cards. The irony wasn't lost on me. She was working at the same casino where she'd gambled away my money. Karma, my sister said. Maybe. Do you ever think about reaching out?
No.
Not even to see if she's okay? She's not my responsibility. She never was. I just thought she was. I started rebuilding my savings. Slowly. Painfully.
Dollar by dollar.
I picked up extra shifts at the hospital. Overnights. Weekends. Holidays. Whatever they needed, I worked. My father offered to help. I have money, Ellie. From the house. I can give you.
No, Dad.
This is mine to do. But she took from you. I know. And I'm going to earn it back. On my own. Without her. Without anyone. He didn't argue. He just nodded. You're stubborn. Like your mother. I'm determined. There's a difference. If you've made it this far, you're one of the few.
Most people would have stopped by now.
But you stayed. That tells me something about you. Hit that subscribe button and drop a like. What comes next? You don't want to miss it. A year passed. I didn't see my mother. I didn't talk to her. I didn't even think about her most days. The pain faded. Not completely, but enough. Enough to live. Enough to breathe. Enough to build something new. My father was thriving. He joined a senior center, made friends, started dating a woman named Carol who volunteered at the local food bank. She's nice, he said. She's not mom. That's the point. I laughed. The first real laugh in months. My sister had a baby. A girl. She named her Lily. I held her in my arms. She was tiny. Fragile.
Perfect.
You're going to have a hard life, I whispered to her. But you're also going to be loved. She grabbed my finger. Held on tight. I cried. Not sad tears. Hopeful tears. The second year I got a promotion. Head nurse on the pediatric floor. More responsibility. More money. More purpose. I used the extra income to accelerate my savings. I was determined to buy a house by the time I was 30. You'll do it, my father said. How do you know? Because you've never failed at anything you really wanted. I failed at having a mother. That wasn't your failure. That was hers. All right, this is the moment everything changes. If you're still here, you're one of the rare ones. 94% of people scroll past without subscribing, but you stayed. That tells me something about you. Hit subscribe because what comes next? You deserve to see how Ellie's story ends, for real this time. The letter came 3 years after the party. Handwritten. On cheap paper. The return address was a casino in Nevada. I almost threw it away. But I didn't. Dear Ellie, I know you don't want to hear from me. I know you've moved on. But I need to write this. For myself.
Not for you.
I've been in therapy.
Real therapy.
The kind where you have to look at yourself and admit what you've done. I was a terrible mother. I was a terrible wife. I was a terrible person. I used people. I manipulated people. I stole from people. Including you. Especially you. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I know I don't deserve it. I'm just asking you to know that I'm trying. For the first time in my life, I'm actually trying to be better. I'm working. I'm paying off my debts. I'm going to meetings. I don't know if I'll ever be a good person, but I'm trying to be less of a bad one. I love you, Ellie. I always have. I just didn't know how to show it, Mom. I read the letter 3 times. Then I put it in the drawer with the binder. The evidence. The proof of who she used to be. I didn't write back. Not because I was angry. Because I had moved on. I bought a house when I was 29. A small one. 2 bedrooms. A yard big enough for a dog. A garden where I could grow tomatoes. My father helped me paint the living room. My sister helped me pick out furniture. My niece, Lily, ran around the backyard, chasing butterflies. It's perfect, my father said. It's mine. That's what makes it perfect. I stood in the kitchen. The afternoon sun streamed through the window. Dust motes floated in the light. $47,000. It had taken me 5 years to earn it back. But I did it. On my own. Without her. Without anyone. My mother died when I was 30. Pancreatic cancer. Real this time. My sister called me with the news. She's gone. How do you feel? I don't know.
Sad?
Relieved? Both. Both is allowed. Are you going to come to the funeral? I thought about it. The church. The casket. The people who would tell stories about the mother they thought they knew. No, I said. I said goodbye a long time ago. I understand. Do you need me to come?
No.
I have Dad. I have David. I have Lily. I'll be okay. I love you, Madison. I love you too, Ellie. I hung up. I didn't cry. Here's what I learned in the 5 years between exposing my mother and her death. Forgiveness is not about the other person. It's about you. It's about letting go of the weight you've been carrying. It's about waking up one morning and realizing that the anger doesn't own you anymore. I didn't forgive my mother because she deserved it. I forgave her because I deserved peace. I forgave myself for trusting her, for believing her, for loving her when she didn't deserve to be loved. I forgave myself for not seeing the truth sooner. And I moved on. Last week, I sat on the porch of my house. The sun was setting. The sky was orange and pink and purple. My dog, a rescue mutt named Charlie, was asleep at my feet. I thought about my mother, about the letter she sent, about the woman she was trying to become. I thought about the $47,000, about the down payment I lost, about the house I bought anyway. I thought about my father, about his new wife, Carol, about the life he built after 30 years of marriage to a woman who didn't deserve him. And I thought about myself, 30 years old, a homeowner, a nurse,
A daughter.
a sister, an aunt. I had survived. Not just the betrayal, the aftermath, the slow, painful process of rebuilding. I was happy, not because my life was perfect, because I had stopped waiting for it to be perfect. I had accepted that my mother was who she was, that I couldn't change her, that I couldn't save her. All I could do was save myself. And I did.
The end.
Thank you for listening to Gentle Drama. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment and tell us, what city are you watching from, and how old are you? Have you ever had to cut off a family member to save yourself? Subscribe for more stories about betrayal, forgiveness, and finding your own way. And remember, sometimes the people who are supposed to love you the most are the ones who hurt you the worst. But that doesn't mean you can't heal.
See you next time.